time to take control of your journey towards chess mastery. Magnus Carlsen introduces Chessable, the definitive solution for studying chess. Move Trainer uses the science of spaced repetition to identify your strengths and eliminate your weaknesses. There's no need to set up a board, remember which page you're on, or keep track of all the moves you miss. Move Trainer empowers you to go from the opening to the end game with confidence. It's a seamless, effective, and fun way to study chess. Choose from one of the largest online chess libraries in the world, with hundreds of titles ranging from classic books through to our exclusive Chessable courses, including over 100 free courses. Get expert insights from International Master John Bartholomew, Grandmaster Sam Shankland, International Master Christoph Sulecki, Grandmaster Simon Williams, World Champion Magnus Carlsen, and hundreds of other instructors. Get started now and join our growing community of over 100,000 chess enthusiasts at chessable.com. Chessable, take control of your journey towards chess mastery.
Hello everybody and welcome to the big one. It's round number 2, day number 3 of the Magnus Carlsen Invitational. And today we have arguably the most anticipated rematch in online chess history in the month of April 2020. Magnus Carlsen is facing Alireza Firouzja. For those of you that are new to chess, Magnus Carlsen is the world champion, the man that has dominated this game for more than a decade. He's 29 years old, but he does feel like a grizzled veteran compared to Alireza Firouzja, who is 16 years old and who did the unthinkable. He defeated Magnus Carlsen 5 days ago in what we here on Chess24 call the BANTER BLITZ Cup. In the final, he won a match, and not, a fluke short match, but first to 8.5, which is significant in Blitz. Alireza has also defeated Magnus, I believe, a couple days before that in a bullet match. Those are 1-minute games on League Chess. So Alireza has beaten Magnus twice this month, once in a more formal setting, once in an informal. Today, the time controls are slightly longer. They play 4 games with 15 minutes plus 10 seconds per move. Magnus does not like to lose, and he does like, to lay down the law and make a comeback. Lawrence Trent, what do you think about that match? Are you excited?
I am, as is everybody else. It is the big one for many people, and of course this matchup, Firouzja Carlsen, is being touted as really the next big rivalry. Is it the next big Karpov-Kasparov kind of matchup? Are these two going to be dominating world chess? There's a strong argument to say yes. Alireza, only 16 years old, already showing incredible potential. It's probably a little bit early to start saying that he's going to definitely make it, but all the positive signs are there. And as Jan said, Alireza beat Magnus in their last match, beat them in a bullet match. But today is a little bit different, 15 minutes each. And we saw Alireza play Ding in the first round, and he was kind of outclassed by Ding. And I think we all agreed yesterday on air that if Magnus gets to kind of position where he's clearly much better than Alireza at, slower, more dry, positional, maneuvery kind of positions, then he's going to be monster favorite because he's just better than Alireza at that. But Alireza is a master tactician. He's extremely sharp. He's extremely resourceful as well in these messy positions. So I think Magnus is going to have a very set game plan today. He doesn't want to get in a dogfight, in a fist fight with Alireza. It's just completely unnecessary. And with 15 minutes on the clock, you can avoid that. But I think, Jan, Magnus would have had time to reflect on his time usage in the first round. I think a lot of them are trying to make this adjustment to playing online chess but not playing Blitz. And I think Magnus is going to be conscious of that.
I asked him about it. He didn't feel like he played too quickly in that first round. He was quite unhappy with his level, though. I disagree with 2 things. First of all, okay, I do think that Magnus could take Alireza in a fist fight. Magnus is ripped, and Alireza, he's 16 years old. He's not a big guy, He's like what, 52 kilos. I think Magnus could take him. And on a more serious note, I think Alireza is extraordinarily strong in, you know, simplified positions where it's not so much about your Carlsbad structure and subtle maneuvering, but, you know, simple endgames. In their match was out of this Alekhine, they got a bunch of simplified positions. Once he knows what goes where, he's so good at putting the pieces correctly, calculating these short tactics. So I don't think it's just simple positions. I think it's more, you know, the experiences in different structures where Magnus has an edge. And a lot will depend on the openings that they will get on the board. Having said all these things, I believe in Magnus Carlsen. I always have, and he usually does not let you down, especially after a setback like that. With his time control, I do consider him a heavy favorite against Alireza.
No question about it. He's heavy favorite at this time control, but I think again, a lot will depend on, as Jan said, the kind of positions that arise. I think Magnus has to be extremely wary about the kinds of middle games he's going to get if he's going to win this match convincingly. And there is another match we shouldn't forget, of course, even though Carlsen Firouzja takes center stage today. Nakamura Giri is a very, very interesting matchup where yesterday, Jan, we saw an all out of sorts Anish Giri. I mean, he really played well below par. To say he had an off day would be an understatement. He'll be looking to bounce back today, but Hikaru will be smelling blood. And Hikaru is normally very good at taking advantage of wounded animals. And I've got Hikaru for actually quite a devastating victory today. That's what my gut tells me. I don't know how you feel.
Have you been hunting with Hikaru? Or how do you
I have been hunting with Hikaru, yes. I have indeed, yeah.
I don't know. Anish was a bit disappointing yesterday, I have to say. He's not the biggest world rapid and blitz specialist, so he was a bit of an underdog in this format. But I was shocked to see him get it into opening trouble with the white pieces as quickly as he did against Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. And he has something to prove today. I always believe in Anish, but of course I cannot argue with Hikaru being the favorite in this matchup. Hikaru, nowadays, he's very focused on his many business ventures. He's into real estate, into the stock market, into all kinds of things. Very popular in the US, into, you know, all his activities. But he is still a devastating rapid and blitz player. The one edge that Anish will have, Anish is still working on his chess all the time. So when it comes to openings or to concrete chess knowledge, Anish should have an edge. But Hikaru, he's a bit like, I can't think of the reference. Who's the villain in The Dark Knight Rises? You know these things. Bane.
Yeah, I haven't actually watched The Dark Knight Rises. I'm not a comic book guy at all.
Sorry to hear that. Anyway, there is this villain called Bane. He's very strong. And at some point he has a fight with Batman. And he tells Batman, you think that you're used to the darkness, but I was born in the darkness. And that's how I feel about Hikaru when it comes to fast time controls. He literally, before he could speak, he was playing on the Internet Chess Club, flagging people, crushing people in 1 minute chess.
That's true.
And therefore, fast time controls to Hikaru, even if he has not been a full-time chess player the last year or whatever. And I'm not sure if he would agree with that notion. He will always be a devastator.
Hikaru might have a legitimate claim to being the greatest internet chess player of all time. Forget, you know, what's happened recently. He's had top ELO ratings across various platforms, across various time controls. He's been playing for much longer than most of these guys. So Hikaru could just be, statistically, if you look at the past 10, 15 years, the greatest internet chess player the world has seen.
Yeah, who else has a claim?
No,
Magnus?
Magnus has obviously done extremely well, but I wouldn't even say Magnus.
We don't think of him as much of an internet player, right?
I don't really know who else. No, I mean, nobody really even comes close, do they, to Hikaru thinking about it? So,
well, there's this new generation of guys like Alireza, Nihal Sarin, to a lesser extent, Artemiev, who play a lot on the internet and can overtake Hikaru, but he is the grand seigneur of online chess. That's
he is. So I think Giri in for a tough day today. I also think Magnus is going to do the business today. I think it would be great for the tournament, for the dynamic of the tournament, if Alireza actually won. It would really open the tournament. But you've got to say Magnus at this time control is big favorite.
You always got to say Magnus at every time control. No, but he recently lost to Alireza.
At 1 minute, he's not a favorite against Alireza.
I'm still taking Magnus. 1 minute match for all the marbles, 100 games tomorrow. I'm taking Magnus, but it's not going to happen.
I think it's incredibly close, though. I mean, it's very marginal that he's favorite at 1 minute, in my opinion. Alireza really is that good. But
absolutely,
it's not a discussion. We had the standings there. We'll just put that back on the screen for all of you guys to remind you of how the scoring system works. Slightly different in this tournament. 3 points for a win, 0 points for a loss in regular time. That is after the 4 games of 15 minutes chess. If there is a tie after those 4 games and it goes to Armageddon, then there is 2 points for the winner and 1 point for the loser. Hence why we see 3, 2, 1, and 0 points on the scoreboard. And yeah, already some guys in big danger of being close to out of. I mean, if Giri loses in regular time today to be on 0 points after 2 rounds, he could be potentially 6 points behind.
It is a long tournament. You can always win some matches, but of course, Anish has to get on the scoreboard ASAP.
He really
Thanks for that rule explanation. Was the best explanation of a scoring system I've seen since Sir Michael brought us Gatekeeper. So this will be very exciting. I was just getting to the fantasy. I took Hikaru in the fantasy with a heavy heart. You were getting 4 points for a Hikaru victory, 14 for an Anish victory. And I really want to click on Anish, but I couldn't do it. Anish, please prove me wrong.
Yeah.
Who did you take?
Well, I took Hikaru. I take Hikaru in this match in general. And for all of you guys who don't know, we do have a daily fantasy contest. You can see there on the screen. The prize is broken down. And as always, remember, make yourselves premium members over on Chess24. 40% discount using the code STAYATHOME, because you get better prizes if you win fantasy amongst all the other benefits, video series, being able to play the Banter Blitzes against the world champion, and so on and so forth. So make sure you are premium before you enter the fantasy. You can still do it before today's round. You've got 15 minutes. Go over to chess24.com/premium. And we accept everything, right, Jan? PayPal, credit cards.
I am not sure about the payment methods, but I do know that you've had your preferred modes of payment, but you do accept them all.
I do shekels, rubles, chervonets, all of it. We take it all. Actually, I don't think we do take grivne and some other things, but the majority of currencies we do take. By the way, there is another special offer today. I have been told to talk about it, Jan. I'll do it briefly. And slightly different. Today, we have got, as you guys probably know, in the Chess24 merch store, we've got all kinds of cool, funky apparel. And today, you are able to purchase something from there and get totally free shipping. You see that t-shirt there? You can get that. I won't repeat it. You see the hoodie that says Patzer? That's Jan's favorite hoodie. You see the one that says Alireza has arrived t-shirt? I've got that t-shirt. Go and get your merch today. Free shipping. Just go to chess24.com/store. And if you want the free shipping, type in invitational into the voucher code box, invitational. So free shipping on your merch today, ladies and gentlemen. What else have we got? Well, I should also mention, of course, all of our friends within the Play Magnus group. We've got the boys at Chessable, chessable.com. check those guys out. Of course, check out the playmagnus.com website as well, where he's got his Play Magnus trainer and Tactics Frenzy apps. And also take a look at cochess.com, which is a new site, also part of the group, where if you've been looking for coaches and improving your chess, Cochess is opening up their waiting list for students. So if you're a student, sign up, get on the waiting list. And if you're a coach that's looking for a kind of one-stop shop for all of your coaching needs, get over there as well. It's going to be a great platform. I'm looking forward to using it as I do a lot of coaching, and it's going to be absolutely lit, as the boys say nowadays. I'm not sure they say it in such a context, but
who are these boys? Sorry, I was in a heated debate
you know,
in the Chess 24 chat.
The chat boys,
Batman villains.
The chat boys would say lit, boys and girls. Anyways, we've got about 15 minutes until the game starts. What else can we say? Yesterday, we've briefly spoken about. We've got also, I should mention, after the round today, I'll tell you guys now, but I'll remind you before we sign off. We have got a recap of today's action with the one and only Pascal Charbonneau, and perhaps more excitingly, we have got a banter blitz session with the Swedish #1, Grandmaster Niels Grandelius, one of the nicest guys you would ever meet, with an infectious laugh. And I use that term consciously, given the weird times we live in. He is an absolutely marvelous human being. And he's going to be playing you guys, but you can only play him if you go premium. Want to play the Swedish #1, one of the best players in the world? Get yourselves a premium membership. He'll be on after the show, and then there will be roundup show with Pascal Charbonneau.
Yeah, so, couldn't agree more. It's a pleasure to have Niels doing a bit of banter blitz. He is my colleague, or was my colleague, on the Magnus Carlsen trainer team for the last 2 World Championship matches. So I've spent a lot of time with Niels, and I know that for him it's a big, big sacrifice that he will play against you people. And I mean that just as it sounded. At 8 p.m. Because for Niels, 8 p.m. is like what for Lawrence Trent is 3 a.m. Niels sleeps around 12 till 14 hours per night, and he does get up pretty early. So that he would stay up till 8 p.m. and play against the Chess 24 premium users is a tremendous sacrifice, and we are very, very happy he would make that commitment. Another thing we are very, very happy about, and probably that you guys are very, very happy about too, is that this show is not just the two of us talking, but once the games begin, we are joined by a bit of a chess expert, the 8-time Russian champion, the super grandmaster, the always controversial, a little rude. Some people have gone as far as a bit too outspoken for this family show, but it's too late. We are stuck with him. Peter Svidler is here. Peter, how are you doing today?
So far, so good. It's been a challenging day, but this is the fun part of it. So I'm happy to be here.
What have you done today thus far?
I've run some errands and also tried being physically active. That doesn't normally agree with me.
Did you injure yourself? I know you have a history of injuring yourself.
This will be more obvious tomorrow, but it's possible. It's always possible with me.
We'll still take you at 80% functionality today. It's the big one. What say you about Carlsen versus Ali Reza?
Well, I think third time has to be the charm for Magnus. I don't think his losing streak in his head-to-head against Ali Reza is going to continue. But I also do think that about the Banter Blitz finals. So I have a 100% negative track record predicting the outcome of their rivalry. So
but that was the point I was also making. You always take Magnus at any time control, but he did not come through the last 2 times.
Yeah, and it's going to be very, very interesting to watch, because Magnus himself, when he came on the show yesterday, was very critical of his play in round one. Unsurprisingly, he sets very, very high standards for himself, and those standards were not met in some of the games. Some games he played sort of exactly as you would expect him to play, and some games clearly not. And today, just as it was punished in his games against Hikaru, today any slip-ups are likely to be severely punished, as we have seen in the finals of the BANTER BLITZ. Alireza is a very, very unforgiving young man if you let him in. But I think this time control will suit Magnus more than it does Alireza. I think there is less potential for each player on 10 seconds mayhem that we have seen there. Even though Magnus was often coming out on top in those games as well, so it's not as if he can't click with the best of them.
Yeah, but I do believe that was a big factor, because usually he could rely in these very fast time controls, this 3-minute match they played, that he would also be the better player when they're both down to 30 seconds. And against Alireza, it felt like that factor he started to doubt, or he started to feel like he's an underdog with 30 seconds. And here,
it's definitely
10
not
seconds extra.
It was not a given during the BANTER BLITZ for sure. It was, I think, a very, very even contest when they came down to the very, very last seconds of games. And Magnus still remains obviously the much more rounded, the much more experienced, just a stronger player. And I don't think that's a particularly controversial statement, frankly.
Hot take again. I told you this could get ugly fast. Martin Van Latum is saying Peter looks like Gandalf the Grey. Do you consider that a compliment or an insult?
Of course, it's a compliment.
He said the grey though, not the white. Even though I could not see that big a difference.
Still played by Sir Ian McKellen.
That's correct.
Yeah.
So if he had called you Magneto, you would also consider it a compliment.
Yes. Anything to do with Syrian is a compliment in my book.
All right, I'm out of things to talk about, and the games have not even started yet.
I'll ask Peter a general chess question then. So you were talking about, Magnus being able to navigate all kinds of waters, actually. I mean, he's just good at every position. Do you consider him the most complete world chess champion of all time? Because there were arguments that Spassky was kind of seen as the universal world champion, maybe Fischer, whereas the likes of maybe Karpov and Capablanca had very specific styles. Would you consider Magnus the most complete?
I think these are the topics I always flounder at, because I think this is just such a subjective field. I think there are actually very, very few world champions which aren't extremely well rounded, and if you consider somebody like you mentioned Karpov as somebody who was perhaps somewhat one-sided, I would already take offense maybe is a strong word, but I would like to inquire, what exactly do you think he was not capable of doing well?
Not that he's not, of course they're all capable, but the level of capability in all types.
I think, as usual, we will, if you have to round it down to I don't know, 3 to 5 names, yes, it always seemingly comes down to the choice between Magnus, Kasparov, and Fischer. And choosing one is difficult. I tend to end up on, whenever I'm asked a question of that sort, I end up saying Kasparov for now, but Magnus is not finished yet. Considering his age, he could still be, going very strong 10 years from now if he decides. I think it will be mainly a question of his, desire to do certain things over and over again, which I think eventually was Kasparov's, I don't know, undoing is once again maybe the wrong word, but what eventually pushed Kasparov out of the chess scene was not that he wasn't competitive anymore. It was just that it seemed like he was not getting a world championship match, and winning all the top players for the 15th time in a row did not appeal to him as much as it may have appealed to him, let's say, 10 years prior to that moment. And it will be, I think that will also be a large challenge for Magnus at some point.
Well, let me put that question then to Mr. Gustafsson. Jan, if Magnus were to leave the world of chess after dominating for years, winning everything, and not having that desire to continue, what world would he then try to conquer afterwards? Where do you think he would go into? Like, would he go into politics? Would he go into business? Would he go into some other sport? What do you see?
I think Magnus is very proudly, very, how do you call it, lowbrow when it comes to his interests. He's firmly a pop culture guy. He enjoys his Premier League. He enjoys his dumb TV shows. He enjoys all those things. So I would see him in media, I don't know, producing
Punditry.
weird comedy series. Like he's also a troll by nature. He's a bit of a troll / bully who also happens to maybe be the most famous Norwegian. I'm not sure if that's true, but I think if you send people through the center of Oslo, he's in the top 5 of people being recognized. So I have a feeling he would be a fixture in Norwegian, pop cultural life, and I don't know, maybe producing a TV show where Jon Ludvig Hammer fights against animals, like something like that. I think you might enjoy.
Yeah, I was going to I expected the word rapper to appear in that answer somewhere.
He's already an established
he's
rapper.
already a rapper.
Yeah, but that
established.
for now it's definitely a second string because bow, and if and when he decides to hang up his boots, and I'm using all the mixed metaphors as liberally as I can in this sentence, he could just go back into the show business.
Let's face it, though, a lot of autotune in his rap. I think there still needs to be some work on them raw skills. Lawrence, did you hear that song?
I
think
did.
it's
I actually quite enjoyed
Spanolen, who
Yeah,
stole the hand lotion. I have no idea what people use hand lotion for, but that is what his rap song is about.
Indeed. No, go and get that. What's the actual name of this song?
You don't know what people use hand lotion for?
Please, Peter.
Clearly to wash their hands. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, people are washing their hands so much that they get dry hands afterwards nowadays.
I've literally had my hands all red because